All right, all right. Phenomenal morning, guys. Phenomenal morning. I am your host, Sean Rais, flanked as always by the phenomenal Bobby Jackson. Listen, this is your breakfast with the brand. This is your breakfast with the brand. We had a phenomenal meeting last night. Listen, I hope you're excited about the new year, man. I really do. I hope you're excited by the prospects and what's to come, like what's possible, really what's possible. Because just to give you a glimpse on the back end, right? Just to give you a glimpse on the back end, phenomenal mastermind, phenomenal meeting, and multiple seven figures generated collectively. Multiple seven figures generated collectively, but more than that, guys, more than that, more than the income, impact, the impact, more than the money, the meaningfulness, and more than the profit, the people, the touches, the changing of the guard. There's a lot of things that took place in 23, Bobby, that's just not going to be permitted in 2024.
Yeah.
There's a lot of slack, right? There's a lot of things that took place in 2023 that will not be allowed to move into 2024. So I want you to, everybody should do a deep dive on this call and find out, is that me? Is that me? Will I make the cut to show up officially in 2024? That's how I want to start the morning. That's how I want to start the morning, brother. How you feeling?
Well, I'm feeling phenomenal. I was on that call last night, and when I say the energy was electric, you could feel it. Like you could feel it. And then we talked about, just some incredible things. But one thing that I wanted to kind of add to that from my perspective is, did I put in the work this year? Did I put in the work? Because we were talking about just work. Or not work, but how we did last year, or this current year. And one thing that I think I have made a good practice of, and it served me well, and it might help you, is to take inventory annually. Like I learned this from Napoleon Hill. He talked about this in the Think and Grow Rich. Like every year, take inventory and then see how well you got to where you were trying to be and where you currently are. And in accounting, we call that budget variance. But that's just another way you can think about it. So budget variance means you have the budget that you budgeted for, and then you got the actual budget, how much money you actually spent. And then the variance between that could be either favorable if you were under budget, or it'll be unfavorable if you were over budget. So like for those that are more mathematical, they like numbers and stuff like that, you're more like me in that way. Think of it like this. What was your budget? What were your goals? And did you hit them? And if you didn't, subtract your goal, like what you hit from what the goal was, and then identify the variance. And that can give you an idea of how much more work you might need to put in.
Good stuff. And listen, guys, if you find yourself in the gap, that's okay. No problem at all. What I want you to do is what we did, give you the exact exercise that I did with my community. The exact exercise that I did with my community was 5 bullet points. 5 bullet points. Give me 5 bullet points to demonstrate how you won 2023. Right? So that's going to be what you do during the break. During this break, I want you to think. And I want you to write down 5 bullet points of how you won 2023. And if you don't mind, share with the people, because a lot of people will come behind this, right? How do you say hashtag replay squad, right? So go ahead, put it in the chat, put it in the comments so that other people can see bullet points and how you won 2023. We'll be right back. This is the Breakfast with the Brand. Let's grow. There's slow growth and then there's scale. There's incremental growth, and then there's exponential growth. What I want to talk to you about is adding a 0 to you and experiencing exponential scale. Incremental growth says 1 + 1 is 2. Exponential growth says 1 + 0 is 10. Incremental growth says 2 + 2 is 4. Exponential growth says 5 + 0 is 50. Guys, listen, when you add a 0 to you You can add a 0 to the marketplace. You can add a 0 to the value that you bring. So you can add a 0 to your family, add a 0 to your legacy. This is what we're talking about. We're not talking about incremental, we're talking about exponential. I always say that business is a spiritual game. Just imagine when you combine your skills, your values, your abilities, your talents to something bigger than you, something greater than you, something like the power of exponential. That is adding a 0. Add a 0 to your competence, add a 0 to your confidence. This is about adding a 0 in your life, your value, your industry, and your mission. Let's grow. The reason why I did this and what I do is help leaders to become brands and brand themselves. You train people how to treat you by how you treat yourself. I teach authenticity marketing. If people can take advantage of you, they will in your personal or professional existence.
My biggest takeaways just from day one is you are the brand. I would recommend it to anybody that's really looking to build a personal brand.
Just the brand in general has changed my life. I've grown so much since I've been a part of this.
I see myself in what he does, and I believe in it just as much as I believe in myself.
All right, guys, listen, I'm gonna play a game, right? I want to play a game called Identify Yourself. Identify yourself. So if you're watching this right now, identify yourself. Like, let us know who you are and where you're calling in from, where you're listening in from, because I guarantee you someone is looking for you. Someone is looking for the services that you provide. But if they don't know that you exist, they won't know that you exist. So let me help you by sharing a platform, right? Let me help you by sharing a platform. Identify yourself and let other people connect with you. We have Bradley Hoover, we have LaWanna Bradford. That's who I see so far for commenting, as well as Jordan Knox. Anyone else, go ahead, let us know where you're calling in from. So Bobby, like I said before we went to the break, the gap. People don't want to stay in the gap. I hope you guys have some bullet points, 5 bullet points of how you crushed 2023. Why? Because the way you go into the year is the way you'll grow into the year. God is in the details, but the devil is too. So if you leave 2023 with a bad disposition, thinking about the things you lost, the things you didn't do, the things you didn't get accomplished, that's the energy that you're meeting a new year with. And I guarantee you that your energy will be multiplied and returned to you sevenfold. Sevenfold. So make sure that you focus on the right things. Where were you crushing it? Where did you win and where did you show up? We can identify gaps later. Nobody hits the mark. If you hit a goal and you crushed it, the goal was too small.
Wow. You know, that makes me think about it flashed in front of my eyes. That's who it was. Jordan Peterson. He did a breakdown of biblical terminology. And there's this word that many people are familiar with called sin. And he found out that if you trace that word back to what it really means, it means to set a target, to aim, and to miss. It's to set a target, to aim, and to miss. And the story of redemption, so to speak, as this psychologist breaks it down, is that redemption is or forgiveness and redemption is to continue aiming, no matter how many times you miss the mark. They say the righteous man falls 7, gets up 8. So as you all are going through your year and as you're looking at all the targets you set and hit, okay, set them higher. All the targets that you set and missed, everybody loves a redemption story. Everybody loves somebody that goes into 2024 like, let's go. I missed it last year, but I'm coming to get it this year. You know, everybody loves an underdog. So I just want everyone to lean into that energy, because I think everyone's an underdog in something. You know, everybody is at the climbing the hill in some aspect. And I forget the speaker who said, I'd rather be the dog climbing the hill than the one on top of the hill. Because the one on top of the hill, he's full, he's lackadaisical, he's relaxed. He's like, that dog's about to get it. But the dog climbing the hill, he's hungry, he's after it. So that's one thing that I would say to that piece. But one thing that I've been feeling lately, just this whole year, toward the end, at least the fourth quarter, is step up your leadership. Now, I'm not talking to you. This is for me. This was for me, what I've been feeling. It was like, step up your leadership. And when I thought about that, it put me in a mind frame that says, how better could I be? Like, what could I improve? What could I improve as a leader? And to me, it was family, it was academics, it was business, it was personal and professional living. And I end that piece to say this: you don't hit any of the goals that you don't set. So if you want to be a better leader, then set the goal to be a better leader. If you want to be a better business owner, then set the goal to be a better business owner, and then just move toward that. And if you sin along the way, ask yourself for forgiveness and go on your redemption journey.
Let's go. Let's guys. So watch this. I'm gonna let you know right now. I didn't hit my goal. I didn't hit it, right? I didn't hit it. I set a huge lofty goal years ago. And I didn't hit it the year I set it. I didn't hit it the year after that. I did it last year and I didn't hit it this year. My goal is to hit it next year. And let me tell you where the name $1 Billion Brand comes from. $1 Billion Brand comes from that mindset. That's the goal. That's the goal. To become the $1 billion brand that can create opportunities for all the people around me. Now, we in the M's, but we not in the B's. So we said it and we missed it. And let me tell you something. I will gladly miss it until I hit it. Just so everybody's clear. Because missing it for me brings me much closer to the goal. If I didn't have that goal, Bobby, I don't know what I would do. I'll be honest. Like, because every other goal that I set, I hit. I remember when it was 10K a month. If I could just do 10K a month, everything would be straight. My life would be different. Everything would change. And I hit it. And I hit it fast and precise. And then I passed it. Right? So we did the 450. Listen, guys, in less than 90 days, because I set the goal. So you got to set it. But when you set it, make sure it's high enough. It has to be big enough, because that goal obviously wasn't big enough. I hit it, and as soon as I hit it without the next goal, you begin to slide back. Please understand, guys, if you don't set the next goal, if your goal isn't big enough or you don't set the next one before you hit the first one, you're going to begin to slide back because you feel like you accomplished something. So you go back into a comfort zone. So your goal is to continue to set goals so big that they encourage you, bring you to life, and are almost impossible to hit. I mean, Bobby, the kind of goals that you're unable to plan for because you don't know what it entails. Mm-hmm. You don't know what the plan is. I mean, literally, I have to reverse engineer the process of the way I think and say, okay, what's most likely, or who is most likely to have the information that I need to hit the goal. And what that causes you to do, guys, is it causes you to create new relationships. It causes you to seek new people. It causes you to ask better questions. It causes you to make bigger investments. It causes you to impart higher level sacrifices on yourself. See, there's triple stages of darkness. Hear me clearly, guys. There's triple stages of darkness. So there's a dark room. You turn out the lights and you still know where things are. And you still got your bearings. You can still see forms. And then there's a darkness where you can't see forms. And then there's the level of darkness where you don't even want to move. That's the kind of level that I'm talking about. I'm talking about setting a goal so high that everything in your life changes. Everything in your world changes. And it's so scary that you don't even know what to do next. If it doesn't take your breath away, it's not big enough.
Man, talk about living life and just embracing life. I was thinking this morning, and guys, I got this from my coach. He told me I'm harder on myself than I am on you guys, and I'm pretty hard on you guys. So for me, I'm very critical of myself, and I'm critical of my team and others in the sense that we all need to be as good as possible. But I was being critical of myself this morning, just of my life. And this is a thought that came to me that I think we can all appreciate this morning. I said to myself, human life is miraculous. If you really think about it, like human life, we are on a planet that's spinning 1,000,000 miles a minute around a sun that's doomed to explode one of these days. And we've come from all kinds of things. And somehow, some way, we have been chosen to be here and sustained. And that's a miracle when you look at the rest of the universe and how asteroids collide. Jupiter's an ice box. Mars is like ice capsules as well. And then I think Uranus is on fire. So when you think about Earth and you just think about how we're actually here, it's a miracle. And this is what came that really chilled me. How terrible is it to be a miracle and live a life less than miraculous? And that's what really chilled me. It's like I am literally a 1 in a billion trillion chance of life. Like that's not supposed to be possible, but I'm here. And with all of this miraculous energy, how could I live with myself knowing I didn't try to live up to my nature? So to me, I feel like my nature is miraculous. And to not live in a miraculous way, meaning that you're commanding and calling and dictating life and just controlling and believing you're just a miracle in motion. I like that, a miracle in motion. And sometimes we can be in motion, but lacklusterly. There we go. Don't be in motion.
That's a word. That is a word.
There we go. So that's what came to mind as I was hearing, Sean speak this morning, and as I'm thinking about the year and I'm thinking about just human beings. I see Jordan Knox said stressful. It's like, come on, guys, like we are miracles in motion. And if we don't stand on that, we can, dare I say, like we die, we die. And when it's over, it's over. And were you a miracle or were you not? And that's just my reality that I wake up to.
Very good. Very good. When we get back, guys, we're gonna again, when we get back, we're gonna bring you back to earth. Right? I know Bobby be taking you somewhere into the celestial realm at times. It's okay. Don't worry about it. When we come back, we're gonna bring you back down to earth, and we're gonna talk about how you can go from the brand to be in 2023 to the brand you have to form in 2024. It's very important that you know yourself to the highest degree possible, because it's through knowing ourselves that we're able to know other people. You are the most important person in the room, and the better that you know yourself, the better that you're able to communicate to others. So you're not only playing the game knowing who you are, but you're also playing the game knowing who everyone else is, so that you're not playing blind.
He's extremely engaging with people. He has a fantastic smile. He's just very high energy person.
This is called leadership development. So we have to be independently knowledgeable and considerate to know who we are so we can more effectively know who other people are. As the leader, it's your responsibility to allocate resources in the right places. If you don't know how to communicate effectively, you're losing the battle. I said Sean Ra'is. I'm proud. I said Sean Ra'is. Leadership is not the brand they made for us.
Listen, he brought fire, heat. He didn't hold back.
20 years down the line, what I could sell, why not serve first? Service over salary. Branding like a leader closes the gap for people who want branding. Speaking like a leader closes the gap for people who are nervous about speaking. If Steve Jobs would have speculated, we wouldn't have Apple.
He changed lives. He helped people open up their business and start their business.
We are the brand. Some people say, Sean, should I quit my job? Mentally, yes.
As a speaker too, to be able to learn from him and watch him and you know, game respects game. And I want to have that much game someday.
The right client, pay $500,000 for what you do. You have to be bold in your beliefs.
He has been an amazing asset to this event and a pleasure to work with. Very captivating, collaborative, worked very well with the audience.
I want to help you. Put a 0 behind your number, right?
The session was great. How he is online, virtually, he is even more phenomenal in person.
Be the face of change that you want to see. Stop asking questions and start giving demands.
The entire team has just been absolutely incredible. They are a joy to work with. They go above and beyond.
Give yourself a round of applause. The difference between sales and closing, I get this all of the time, guys. Closing is elegant. Closing is luxurious. Closing is the most profitable. Sales, high pressure tactics. No one associates car sales, right, the sleazy sales tactics with closing, because closing is elegant. Closing is excellent. You have to be a professional in order to close deals. Listen, when you do this the right way, when you learn what we're going to teach you in here, your clients will be trying to close you, and they won't let you close them for low numbers. So you'll be able to heighten, increase your profitability, increase your visibility, increase your reach, and increase your impact in the marketplace. And be confident and comfortable charging higher prices than you ever thought possible to the right people who can actually pay for them and then say thank you for closing them. Doesn't that just sound like a dream come true? That just sounds like a dream come true. Just think about it, guys. Being able to close the deals. I don't know. This just came to me. You want to be able to close the door in 2024, guys. You want to be able to close the door in 2024. So I want to ask you, what doors do you have closed? What gaps? What holes exist in your business? What holes exist in your life? Right? Because as entrepreneurs, as CEOs, as PBOs, professional business owners, there's a lot of dynamics that take place within our lives. We have the family, we have the spirit, we have the body, we have the mind, we have the brand. And that's what I want to talk to you about, the brand. What brand will you be in 2024? Think about your numbers. Think about your numbers and your sales, like your revenue. Businesses are here to create value, but also retain and produce profits, because profits are how the value holders, the stakeholders, the constituents, your first and real clients, your staff eat. If you don't have a team, it's because you can't pay a team. Everybody here would like to have a team. If you don't have a team, the reason why you can't sustain a team is because your leadership is insufficient. So you need to learn some things about how to close big deals from adding more value so that you can pull in and retain higher levels of profit, so that a team doesn't become a commodity, but a team becomes a consistency and a necessity, because you don't have any other option. There's too many people. One person can't serve 1 million people. I know they say Jesus fed the multitude with the loaf of bread, but until the last time I checked, you need a team. The last time I checked, you need a team. Sean Ra East needs a team. And the only way you're going to pay this team is from profits. So I want you to take a hard look at your numbers, because this hard look at your numbers will tell you how your brand performed. I'm not talking about your feelings and your emotions and, the excuses or what losses took place. None of that makes a difference to the bottom line in revenue. The bottom line in revenue is hard facts, ones and zeros. That's how I want you to take a critical analysis to 2023. Take a critical analysis to 2023 so you could take a more productive forecast for 2024. You got to get all the facts. And those facts are going to be found in the balance sheet.
Yeah. I remember opening the business legitimately, like when I left the military, and what that experience was like. And when I tell you guys, I thought it was sweet. I thought it was sweet. Bubble gum and cotton candy. I thought this thing was going to be something else. I remember going to the bank and asking them for a loan, and they were like, yeah, sure, you got the loan. Then I remember going getting credit, and they were like, oh, here, take some more credit, knock yourself out. I remember doing all of this stuff. And, it was in that year that I learned credit doesn't pay bills. It is a bill. Credit is a bill. It does not pay bills. And when you go through business school or any type of technical training, you're probably going to learn that it's good, that you should take out loans and that you should take out debt and all this other stuff. Now, I'm not saying that there's no such thing as good debt. Obviously, there is. I work in finance in the sense that that is my specialty and expertise. So I do understand the world of finance. But even as a financier, let me be real with you. Let me be 100% transparent. Unless you know how to sell and close deals, you will run out of money. Like there's no amount of credit that you can get without a VC. And this is something that I'm seeing in the marketplace. Like it baffles my mind, but I want to be able to help you guys see the decoy. Like sometimes we can be like fish, especially when we're starting out in business. Like we can see someone else's weight in the water and it's a decoy and it looks something that we think is good, but it's really not. So I kind of want to help you spot this decoy. So what I see in the marketplace a lot is people that don't have, and please don't take this the wrong way, people that don't have venture capitalist visions looking for venture capital simply because they don't understand how to scale their business without it. And I'm going to say that a slightly differently just to bring it home, because guys, I have a pretty good idea of where you might be. Like, so let me lay this out to just make sure I'm connecting with you guys. Like, you have the idea, you know that you got skills, education, expertise, and you've been watching Shark Tank. You've been watching Dragon, the Three Dragons in the UK. Like, you know that if you get enough money coming in, that you can go out and build something. But what you don't know is that you can create money on demand by providing value. Like, that aspect is one that's just not talked about. So if we don't know that as a reality, what we do is we try to go to venture capitalists and VC firms and angel investors to get money from them, and they're not the right person to go to for what you're trying to do. Like, literally, if you're trying to build an Amazon, yes, go there. If you're trying to build a Facebook, yes, go there. If you're trying to build a personal brand that's going to set you free so you can live the life that you want to live without the constraints and restraints of a board, you don't want to go to a VC, because the VC is going to tell you how much you need to return on equity, when that money needs to be back, how much they're willing to give you, under what constraints you can create the world that you want to create. And most people are trading one employer for another one, not understanding that the real freedom is in your ability to make it rain on demand.
Let me add a little bit of I love what you got to study people. Let me just say that you got to study people. Dame Dash says something. He's also from Harlem, and he says that if you don't have your own money, you're not a boss. If you're not starting your business with your own money, you're not a boss. So Bobby said something that kind of triggered a nerve in this distinctive insights. You want to have distinctive insights, and you want to pay attention to them, like write them down and underline them. So I had a distinctive insight when Bobby said what he said about VCs and trading one employer for another. You don't want to go into 2024 paying for 2022. Please hear me. And I'm going to flesh this out in multiple ways. You don't want to go into 2024 paying for 2022. Meaning, how long have you had that debt? How long have you been making the minimal payments on the debt? If you're not debt free in your business, and you're not your own employer, the bank is, the creditors are. I see people running around. I don't want to say, I can't even say hungry. I see people running around thirsty, desperate, and it shows in the marketplace. It shows. I tell people all the time, be hungry. Don't ever be thirsty. Don't ever put yourself. Discipline, the lack of discipline puts us in a position where we have to become desperate. So let's just have a transparent conversation, guys. Is there more money at the end of the month, or is there more month at the end of the money? And if there's more month at the end of the money, I want you to think about that middle week. Past the 15th, between the 15th and the 1st, when things get real scanty. Because I've been there, so from experience, I know what it looks like when you're like, I got to get the close, I got to get the deal, I got to get the speaking, I got to get the stage, I got to get the engagement, and you're willing to lower your prices. This is what happens. It's a series of events that take place. First, people outspend. They overspend, and then they outspend their income. They overspend and outspend their income because they don't have the discipline. So they get a deal, and then they start spending money. And they haven't secured the money. And they don't have a storehouse of money. Nor do they have the accumulated skill set or the system that's going to bring them leads on demand. So you can't spend money if you don't know where the next lead is going to come from, or the next 5 leads are going to come from. It doesn't work that way. You will not be successful in business if you are not able to position yourself platform of discipline. And so let me tell you what I did. What I did personally, Bobby, is I said, okay, it's 2013. I'm going to have to lock myself into a closet until 2019. I can't spend nothing. I can't see anyone. I'm all about my business. I was flying and I was speaking, but if you weren't in private, you didn't know me. If you weren't in a Fortune 500 company, you wouldn't know I existed. Why? Because I wasn't on Facebook fronting. Like I had something I didn't, or like I was someone that I wasn't, because it's very expensive to keep up facades. It's very expensive to keep up facades. And I taught this a long time ago in clinical and in social services, where people spend 5 years to pay for belts. Guys, your phone should not be on lease. You should not lease a phone. Nor should you put $1,000 shoes on credit. If you have to put a watch on credit, you can't afford it. So we're talking about things that are going to hurt you going into 2024 or could save you in 2023. It's about closing doors into 2024. You want to close doors into 2024. You don't want to let the draft in. And I'm that kind of coach that's very confrontational. So I'm going to let you know what you're doing wrong because I care. What I don't care about is whether you like me or not. I'm that coach who tells you the truth so that you can make a informed decision and say, wow, do I want to be lied to? Because if you do, you can go to the circus. You know the events where the rafters come down and the lights go on and the lights go down and then someone comes out with a megaphone and just blows you, like continues to make you feel some kind of way. But when you leave, you don't know what to do. I'm not for the show. I'm not for the circus. I really want you to be successful. So if you become successful at the expense of our relationship, but you become successful, I'm all for it. So I'm going to tell you the truth. If you have to use credit, then you're not making enough sales. You're not making enough money. Mm-hmm. If you have to get loans, you have to learn how to sell. You're not making enough money. You need to build something. And a lot of times when we're spending out and we're chasing to pay it back, it becomes a monotonous circle and we can't concentrate or focus long enough to build anything of any real value. I think I'll stop right there.
I think that has painted a picture for everyone because being in the finance space, I hear that story all the time. Like all the time. And you guys probably see that wealth strategist thing at the bottom, but it's like Bobby never talks about wealth. Like he talks about it, but he doesn't talk about it. Like, so I'm going to do better. I want to give you guys more of that wealth side of the house, because finance is an underpinning, it's an underpinning of wealth, and everybody's hopped up on financial literacy. I'm taking nothing away from it, but there is what I call financial intelligence. And financial intelligence is like the step up from financial literacy. So with financial literacy, you've got like your 1s, 1, 2, 3s, and ABCs. You can't really spell, you can't really punctuate a sentence. You don't really know how to make it talk. In business, we call accounting the language of business, right? Most people don't understand financial statements. And we're not going to go down this rabbit hole at all this morning, but I do want to add this piece. What skill set are you putting off? What skill set are you putting off? Because for me, full transparency, systems all day, book all day. I hate it. And I sit down, I feel so confined. I'm looking at the constraints and I feel so like I'm a creative. In my past life, I was an artist. In the military, I was a Marine. I'm a gunner. Like I'm trying to go get it. I don't want to sit down with the candle lit and the dim light and just write. Like that's not me, but I have to do it. And you got to do it. And I'm doing it one day at a time. And when it's done, oh my goodness, y'all going to know it. Y'all are going to know it when it's done.
Yeah. It's the discipline. That's the discipline piece, guys. Mm-hmm. It's the concentration and focus. So when he says, like, when I see his face, he's like, oh, I can't. And I can't. The thing that you have a problem doing is concentrating and focusing. Mm-hmm. And that's for everybody. Like, guys, you know what you need to do. Can I be the ice bucket challenge at the end of 2023? Like, just to provide you with the cold splash of ice water? Like, you know how to lose weight. You know how to get out of debt. You know how to do these things. And watch this, Bobby. You start off good. You don't have to wait for New Year's to make a resolution because you've had like 20 of them throughout 2023. You said, I'm going to do this. And you started great. Mm-hmm. But then day 3, day 7, Day 16, if you get that far, if you make it to day 16, day 17, them cupcakes get you. Them cupcakes get you. And everybody knows what I'm talking about. Everybody has their own form of cupcake.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has their own Doritos, like whatever it is. You'll say, I'm going to get out of debt, and you start paying off the credit cards and you start hitting. And then as soon as they get full, something pops up. Mm-hmm. Something pops up and it's like swipe, back to zero, back to square one. Back to square one. And you haven't acquired the skill yet to put it back like that. See, debt is good for people who are high performance. Debt is okay for people who are high performance because we're able to knock it off and pull in the revenue on command. If you don't have an email list or a CRM or an offer, you have no business coming into business with bad employee habits and mindsets. Help me. I'm going to help you understand something. Business is for the disciplined. Business is for the steadfast and the earnest, the people who can understand the difference between the short gain and the long game. Which means you have to be able to say, okay, I'm going to sacrifice 2024, 2025, and 2026 to hard work and scraping by while I learn the skills that I need to dominate come 2027. You got to have a long vision. You can't be emotionally drawn towards how it looks. That's why I say, Bobby, everybody wants what it looks. Nobody wants what it feels like. Mm-hmm. Everybody wants what it looks like. It looks great. Oh, you're traveling, you're speaking, you're touching stages amongst different places. But watch this, if you don't do it right, you'll touch stages too, but you won't get wages. So you'll touch stages, you'll be flying around, hopping around, paying for credit. Credit will be paying for your seat on planes. And if you're real lack of discipline, then you'll be in first class, but you will not have earned first class. You'll be paying for your first class seat for the next 5 years.
Oh.
And not be getting paid to speak. This is a real fact, and it's the reality that's crushing our economy and our industry as entrepreneurs, because everybody's, like Bobby said, hopped up, jacked up, cranked up on things that aren't real. I want you to be really, truly successful. And let me tell you something, $200,000 is way better than $2 million of debt.
Mm. Yeah. Wow.
So that's your employer. Like right now, like I just want you to think about it. Like the bills you have to pay are your employer. We'll be right back. Business is like a game of chess. It's not checkers. If you don't know how to lead with a personal brand, then you're losing the battle.
Everything about Sean's talk was fantastic. I mean, I got so much from it.
So he was really bringing fire and passion and just love and spirit to let everybody else know how do you become a leader amongst the leaders.
You hold the key in your hand. There is more power in this phone than there was that took the first man to the moon.
His energy, his dynamic information, gave a really great presentation.
I didn't ask for any money. I didn't have an offer. I had a heart to help people and meet them where they were at and find their need and fulfill it.
Sean is the bomb.
I don't talk theory. I don't talk hyperbole. I don't talk opinion. Nothing I talk is anything but evidence-based.
During the G-Circle retreat in Atlanta, I had the pleasure and the honor of listening to Mr. Sean Raiz. He will not only impact your organization, but he will elevate your team to another level.
When you change you, when you put you into the equation, the whole system is different. I guarantee you, you got the right thing. You are the right person. If you can present yourself in the best way possible, there's no negotiation.
His energy is infectious, and I have so many takeaways from the presentation that I can't wait to get started and implement them today to see the result.
When I think of brand you, I think of being your best self, your most authentic. The reason why we were able to crush business, absolutely dominate in business without having the marketing list, without having the email huge list, without having the Facebook ads and the advertising budget, without knowing the algorithm. The reason we were able to do this is because I branded myself. I told my authentic story and I was comfortable in my skin. Why? Because it was that time in the world where everything was shifting. It was 2020, March. So you remember what happened during that time. It was like the world was coming to an end. So you didn't have anything to hold back. So I chose to give everything that I had and be everything that I am. And because I was that, because I branded me, because I was authentic, everything shifted. And people wanted more. And they wanted to know more about me and how they could become more comfortable in their skin. Listen, guys, when you brand you and not what you do, you're gonna add a zero to the world, but you'll also add a zero to your revenue. Let's grow. Yeah, Bobby, you know, I just want the people to win, man. I'm tired of the hype. Like, it's like 2024, guys, you should be like on a hype detox.
Yeah.
Everybody needs a hype up, jacked up, gassed up detox and just come down to ground earth and let's take a look at what the numbers look like.
Yeah.
How many leads are coming in daily? How many of those leads convert into conversations? How many of those conversations convert into capital?
Mm-hmm.
Let's start there. How many leads are coming in, guys? I'm trying to give you the pipeline. I'm trying to give you the keys to success right now. I'm trying to give you the keys to the throne right now. How many leads are coming in daily? First number. All that other stuff, how many likes did I get? How many times did I post? None of that stuff counts. How many leads are coming in? Meaning, how many people's contact information are you acquiring daily? How many of those leads do you follow up with? And that's not the number to look at. How many of those leads do you follow up with that actually turn into conversations or clients? And how many of those conversations then turn into capital gain? Three numbers. Like let's make it simple. Let's whittle it down. Like, you know, the brand won't exist without the business, guys. I'll be honest with you. The business won't exist without the brand. You got to create a brand. But if you try to create a brand without the business, then you're just talking. You might look really great, but really be suffering on the inside. So what looks good on the outside could be actually detrimental to you on the inside. Look at cake. Cake looks great, but it'll make you sick. It'll make you sick. So I'm trying to help you. And I want you to understand that if you don't take care of the business on the back end of the brand, then you're headed for ruin. How many leads are coming in daily? How many of those leads are turning into conversations? And how many of those conversations are turning into capital? You get those three numbers, then you'll be magic. Like that'll create the ability to really dominate in your business. And you won't have to worry about all this other stuff that you see out here on YouTube and Facebook. You could just really concentrate on how many leads are coming in, how many of those leads are becoming conversations, and how many of those conversations are becoming capital.
Yeah.
Do the 3-step, 1, 2, 3.
You know, what I really like about that 1, 2, 3 process is it makes us think about the basics. It gets us back to the basics. And in the Marines, we say there's brilliance in the basics. You know, if you execute the basics right, you're in there. You're in there. But another thing that came to me was why I don't talk about wealth as much on here. And it's because wealth is more of an end game, honestly, than it is a step 1, step 2, step 3. And that's something that I had to learn, even being in finance. So what I mean by that is a lot of times people will sell the end state and hold the steps hostage. They'll sell you the end state and hold the steps hostage. And some of my best clients, like if I'm doing wealth management for them, it would be they want me to help them think through their trust before they go talk to their lawyers. They would have me help them construct their personal investment portfolio so that they always have their own capital, a portion of it that they're managing. They would have me think through with them how they can leverage insurance policies, right? And the reason I bring this up is because people lead with that. And you can't really lead with that without shooting yourself in the foot. Like if you try to put a trust together, and I've seen this done, without having anything to put in the trust, what people do is they create the trust before they even have the LLCs because they saw a TikTok that said, here's a way that you can pass down generational wealth. And then they create a trust, costs like between $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, including the setup fees and lawyer fees. And then they don't have any LLCs to put in there. I'm not trying to take you left field or take you out of the brand. I'm trying to show you how important the brand is, how important the business is, how all the things you want to do, the financial freedom, like wealth comes from investing. You cannot be wealthy without being an investor, period. But business is a stepping stone that you can make, that you can take to becoming an investor. So if you look at all of your favorite influencers, from Damon John all the way to, say, there's another guy that I like a lot, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, all of those guys, they had businesses at some point and then they became investors. And what a lot of people are trying to do is they're trying to become investors before they become business owners. And I think that can be very challenging. So as I conclude my statement, get the business right. Like get the business piece right. Get the 1, 2, 3 down. How many leads come in daily? How many leads do you follow up on? And then how many convert? And this last piece of transparency is I took that route, but I was too smart for my own good. I went to the colleges. I learned finance. I know how to make money grow. And I do. But I did not know business practically.
Theory is something different.
Something completely different. So when I got my hands on this thing and I'm getting all this credit, I know how to sell to banks. I know how to get the investors to give me money. I'm doing all of that stuff. And then I'm not getting the results that I expected. And that's what I would like you guys to avoid if you so choose. Like the wealth can be made and I can help you do it. Of course, like there's strategies out there, but until you have the business and the brand, trying to build wealth is
futile.
Like I couldn't even think of it's
futile. Right. So guys, so what Bobby's talking about is how he got the stages without the wages. how he got the dance and didn't stand a chance.
Come on.
For real. Like you don't want to do this the wrong way. If you do this the wrong way, you're going to be you'll be burying yourself. You'll be burying yourself. And business is supposed to take you out of the hole, not put you in it. Yeah. So if this was a pipeline, the marketing of the brand would bring the lead in. The ability to compel or influence will turn the lead into a conversation. The skill of closing will turn the lead into capital and close on the call. And the brand is what retains. The brand is for retention purposes and true raw value. Value, that which changes states. And you want to be able to change states. When people do business with you, they do it for one reason. I don't care what you do. I'm just talking frankly. I don't care what you do. You could be a coach, you could be a speaker, you could be a consultant, you could do what Bobby does with finances, you could teach people how to do gymnastics. It doesn't make a difference what you do. When people do business with you, they're looking for a transformed state. They're looking for a state change. That's the value. And if you can't change states, then you need to concentrate on getting the value first. A lot of people try to build a brand, but they have no transformative abilities. So brand what? You understand? Brand what? And brand who? There has to be a you to brand. We say brand you. That's why I say brand you and not what you do, because when you do this the right way, you can do all kinds of things. But it starts with you. You got to be in the right state. You got to be in the right mindset. And you have to be able to change states. That's the magical part that Bobby was talking about. Marketing brings them in. That's the lead generation. If you don't have, that's where you need to start. If you don't have a way to generate leads, you're not going to be successful in business. This has been The Breakfast with the Brand. We just want to help you. Like really get your head on right so you can win 2024. Like 2024 does not have to be a war that you lose. It can be a war that you easily win. Let's grow. See you tomorrow. Same time, same place.